In 2019, Ghana had its year of return, but now it's 2025, and we have to ask the question, will Ghana lose a lot of its diasporans in 2025? Hi, my name is Dr. Joseph Opare, and I'd like you to like and subscribe. Click below. I've noticed there's a lot of you watching, both on BitChute and on YouTube, that are not subscribed. If you subscribe, you'll be notified, and also if you make more comments, we can improve everything for your viewing. So don't forget to like, subscribe, add some comments on this footage so we can ramp up and increase the quality of what we give to you. So, as I said in the beginning, Ghana in 2025 has lost some diasporans who came in 2019 looking for greener pastures in this country. A lot of these, when they came to Ghana, got under that romantic impression after they had visited Cape Coast and saw the slave castle and all the other tours that they did, really fell in love with Ghana, and so decided to move back to what a lot of Americans call the motherland. But all of this, although it was lovely to see, for me personally as a Ghanaian, and both as, I would say, raised as British, to me there was a problem with this. I've met several different people from the US, from the UK, intending to move over here. And sometimes when I listen to the things that they say, and also look at the things that they're doing, I realize that they don't have a clue. And even when you're trying to advise such people, a lot of the time they don't tend to listen to those of us that have more of a bridge between the two countries. And so I'm going to discuss some of the reasons why some of these diasporans tend to end up leaving the country. So Ghana has been very attractive to a lot of diasporans who realize that this is a land of opportunity. However, we need to look at some critical issues, because I feel like for a lot of those coming from abroad, there's some blind spots. There are three reasons and three problems that we need to tackle. Number one is employment opportunities. And bad financial planning. Number two is the lack of understanding of the social and financial order of Ghana. And then number three big problem, and I believe is the biggest problem, is no trusted contacts in Ghana. Let's tackle these one by one. A lot of diasporans, when they're in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, they find it easier to get gainful employment. But when they come to Ghana, what they do is they try to live off savings, and then they find a rude awakening when they plan to use those savings, maybe to build a house, to set up a business. They tend to run out of money because they underestimate what things are like over here, and the fluctuation of the city will go up one day and then go down another day. And so, for instance, recently the city flipped. I'm just going to speak in terms of pounds, switched over from almost 21 cities to £1, and it's gone the other way now to approximately 14 cities to £1. And so this makes life a bit confusing and a bit rough for people, because one day your pound is worth a lot, and then the next day your pound's not worth that much. But to be honest, the prices of things also kind of change slowly in Ghana, back to slightly cheaper over months as the dollar fluctuates. But Ghanaians don't really like when they put the price up to bring the price back down. And so the lack of employment opportunities often cause people to get up and flee because they didn't plan properly when they got here. Now, Ghana is not really a place for employment. So those of you that like to think you're coming to Africa and you have this thing in your head, there are maybe one or two countries or a couple of countries in Africa that have reasonable employment, but for the majority, including Ghana, Ghana is a very business-orientated place. And so if you're coming here as a diasporan, it's not really for you to come here to think that you're going to come and work for somebody. It's about you planning to build a business, taking advantage of the labor market over here and also the resources over here to build a business maybe that produces products that you're able to export either to other African countries or other countries that have their trade doors favorably open. We know what's going on with the US, and we know that because of all the tariffs, maybe exporting stuff to the US would not be a good idea if you're over here. But there are a lot of opportunities. Okay, number two, when I say the lack of understanding of the social and financial order of Ghana, I've had people come over here and they don't understand when you're in certain countries, whatever the country is, especially countries that are developing, and they speak a different language to you. When you go to places where they don't put the prices on the goods, those countries are normally places where people haggle for things. But if the price is written and it's fixed, you can't change the price. But in places where they haggle for things, as soon as you open your mouth with your accent, the price is normally going to go up. Which kind of bridges my point number three, why you need people over here that you can trust to show you the ropes and maybe speak in your behalf to buy things, because if you open your mouth and you say certain things, they know automatically you are not from Ghana or one of these countries. And so that lack of understanding, and then also people like to hustle you. And so as much as people are nice in Ghana, I've met a lot of people who are just not honest. Okay, just not honest. Will sell you a coconut, let's just say a coconut that costs cedis, they will sell it to you for 20 cedis. Why? Because they're using their head to try to make money out of you. And so it's good for you to find out the local prices of things, so that you don't get scammed and conned in terms of what you're spending money on. And so it's better, to do that. Also, one of the things I find is a lot of people from the diaspora, because their way of living is they'll get up and they go to the supermarket to buy things. In a lot of these places, the supermarket is not the first port of call for the locals. So the locals would normally go to certain open markets to buy produce and to buy, they will use what's called a cold store to buy their meat and so on and so forth. And so their cost of living is low. When diasporans come here, they automatically drift off to the supermarkets, which if you're in the US, Europe, Australia, you can find low-cost supermarkets. And so you're able to budget, and so it's not eating up all your money. But when a lot of the diasporans come here, they assume that the locals run to the supermarkets to buy things, and that's not the case. we've got people living off, let's say 800 cities a month. A good job, 2,000 cities a month. And so if you're living off that, how much are you spending on groceries? They're not spending the amount that you spend on groceries in a month. And so they have to be sensible with their money. So don't come here trying to spend like you're in the West. Don't do that. Because when you do that, you're going to deplete all your finances and it's all just going to disappear. Now, the other thing that I found is that there are a lot of people that move here and they don't have trusted contacts. And so they get scammed. I will be trying to set something up personally to help people because I have a heart for people. But I've seen people not even scammed by just locals, but people being scammed by people who are not even from the country in collaboration with people in the country. And so it is important that you make friends maybe with someone that is from Ghana that is living in your country, that you can trust and that can introduce you to people so that when you get here, you're not vulnerable and prone to being conned and people taking money from you. All right. Now, I want to give you some instances of different situations with different people. I'm not going to mention their proper names because if I do, I know they wouldn't appreciate that. But I've had people that I've met over here. I met an American couple here. They came here and they were getting all excited and talking about they bought land and showing me a little piece of paper. And I said to the brother, I said, brother, that's not how we do stuff here. He had given up the money already. He hadn't gone through the right process. There's a process to buy land in Ghana. And the process doesn't begin with giving money. No, you have to actually do what is legally called due diligence. You have to check the background of these people and find out who they are, even find out if you can where they live. Because if not, you're just handing over your money to be lost. And that is the case for a lot of people. And so this couple ended up actually splitting up because of personal issues. And when they did, one of the problems that they had was they didn't realize they came here with, I think it was about 4 children. And when they got here, they realized that school in Ghana is not free. Not any meaningful education is going to be free. And so they had to, quickly come to terms that it's not going to be easy to educate those children without an income. And so what did they end up doing? Even though they parted company, this couple, the father had to take the children back home to United States and is there now. Even though they came enthusiastically and did everything to try to live here, they just didn't plan well enough to stay here. There's another sister that I know, I won't mention her name, but got conned. Again, another land thing, because she's racing and rushing to get land. And even though we're trying to help because we have people buying land from us, she probably thought she was going to race ahead and get land. Ended up getting burnt by some people because I said in Ghana, when you're buying land, there is a process. And if you don't know the process, and that process takes time, if you don't know the process, don't try it because you'll end up getting burned. Maybe one day I'll do a video on the process that you need to go through to buy land in Ghana because it's not a rushed thing. And I have a situation where another sister came to Ghana, but she is a different kind of story, a success story. Because she came here, she visited, and that's maybe what you need to do. Come and visit. Don't necessarily come and rush to move. I know World War III is in progress, but why don't you, before they close the doors with visas and shut down embassies. Why don't you plan some trips to places like Ghana and come and see for yourself? So she came for someone's funeral. She's not native Ghanaian. She's originally, her parents from the West Indies. She came over and said, you know what? She was on her way to the airport and said, you know what? I haven't seen all of Ghana and I need to see more of Ghana. And so she ended up coming back, and we did the hospitable thing to allow her to stay with us, myself and my wife. Yes, I'm married. See, there's the ring. All right. So she stayed with us for about a month and then ended up going somewhere else to stay in a hotel for another month. And then we thought she was going to be gone. No, she found another place to stay for another month and liked it so much that she said, okay, she said she's still not sure, but she packed her stuff, her little stuff that she came with, went back to the United Kingdom and said she was going to visit Gambia and Egypt because she's, you know, retiring, and she just wanted to find somewhere better to live. So she went to the Gambia because, you know, there are people talking about moving to the Gambia. She went there, she didn't like it. She went to Egypt, and I think that was just a holiday. And then what she did was she packed all her stuff, because there's a great shipping company, if you're in the UK, that I could tell you about. But today's not all about that. Packed all her stuff, shipped it over, came over, found a place to live. It was much better than even where we are. Even though where we are is nice, her place was much nicer. You should have seen the place she got. Jaw-dropping place for the same price we would pay in terms of rent. And she's been here ever since. And she loves it here. Periodically she flies, goes back to the UK, but she loves it here. And so, in conclusion, I would just say to you, if you're planning to move to Ghana, get these major things sorted out. Don't come here thinking you're going to be an employee. Think about doing business and be realistic. Sit down, plan things properly. Okay, if you're getting into shipping, then and exports and imports and so on and so forth, think about how that looks like on the ground. Come to Ghana, work out the logistics. Okay. And also, if you're setting up a business in Ghana, again, there can be some hitches depending on the scale of the business, because if you're setting up a business in, you know, your own name as someone who is not a citizen of Ghana, what you're going to find is that a lot of the time they're going to make you pay an exorbitant amount just to set up your business because you're not from Ghana. So you might want to pair, as I said, with somebody who is from Ghana and give them somewhat find some kind of legal way, see a lawyer to draft some kind of document, so that although you might be, how can I put this, a silent on paper director of the company, this person is an active director in Ghana. But you find a way that, you know, you still have ownership of the company. And so you have to think these things through and not just be in a rush. And secondly, get to understand the culture, understand the food. You might not like some of the Ghanaian food. Okay. Don't just say, I'm coming over here and I'm going to live a European lifestyle. I'm going to eat sausages and cheese and, and all this other stuff. Because you're going to get here and be disappointed, because you'll find that, for instance, cheese is very expensive in Ghana. Okay, we're not really a country that's big on milk. Okay, so when you're coming here, if you're coming here with those things in your head, I'm going to be buying cheese and milk and all this, it's not that it's not here, it's here. Everything is here. But some things are expensive because they're not indigenous to the country and not really part of the culture. So if you can find, I know it might be expensive out there in the US, UK, and so on and so forth, try and find some Ghanaian food. Try sample it and see what types of Ghanaian food you can get used to before you get here. Don't get here and then try to live a European lifestyle because it won't work out well for you. All right. Well, I hope that has helped you. And we're going to revisit some of these things later on down the line when we're not tackling other news stories. But a lot of diasporans are leaving because they don't think things through, and they make a lot of mistakes trying to move here with that mentality of living in the West. There's no real welfare system here. And so you need to think about all of these things before you get here. All right. Bless you. Well, if there are any questions you have, please put them in the comments and I'll see if I can make a video about those things. Bless you once again. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye for now.